safety first, we begin each commission meeting with a safety briefing in the event that we have an emergency. Of course, we have being located here at 100 West Anderson Street on the 7th floor of the commission chambers. We have 3 exits. We have to the north of, or to the east of me and right behind, and then of course we have to the rear. We also, if needed to evacuate the building, we will exit to the nearest door, proceed to the stairwell to the left or right of the commission room, and our meeting place will be at the surface parking lot under the 408. We also have an AED, a first aid kit, and fire extinguisher, which are located to the rear of the room. Our fire extinguishers are also just outside of the front and vestibule doorways. The 911 primary backup for each designated meeting will be myself for this afternoon, of course, Jason Roberts and LaShawn Nell Statham. And the security team will assist with directing emergency responders into the building and up to the 7th floor. So we feel that we are safe and we are ready to proceed. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Preston. Mr. Orlando Sims, will you provide the moment of reflection, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As we gather here today, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Women's History Month. Let us celebrate the incredible contributions that women have made to our society. This is a time to reflect on the significant achievements, contributions, and struggles of women throughout history, particularly in the world of corporate America. For decades, women have been working tirelessly to break through the glass ceiling, shatter stereotypes, and pave the way for future generations of female leaders. From Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, to Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of PepsiCo, to Ursula Burns, the former CEO of Xerox, women have proven time and time again that they have the intelligence, drive, and creativity to lead companies to new heights. As someone who is the father of 5 beautiful and intelligent daughters, some are here with us today. I understand the power of knowledge and the importance of being intentional in our efforts to inform and empower young women to pursue their dreams, goals, and aspirations in every aspect of their lives. While women have always been an integral part of society, their contributions have often been overlooked, underestimated, redacted, or forgotten. As we gather here today, I'm extremely proud to be a part of the OUC family. We are a living and ever-evolving example of what happens when a corporate entity embraces the power of diversity, equity, and inclusion, as evidenced by the great contributions of women at every level of this organization. Can we take a moment to give the women who helped to make OUC one of the leading municipal utilities in this nation a round of applause? However,
Really?
that would have been a good place. This is important. And, or however, just give me a moment. We must also recognize that there is still work to be done. Women still face discrimination, bias, and inequality in various areas of their lives, from the workplace to the home. It is up to us to continue to strive in order to achieve gender equality and to ensure that women are given the same opportunities and rights as men, regardless of their race, ethnicity, background, or gender identity or expression. As we celebrate Women's History Month, let's take a moment to honor the women who have come before us, the women who are leading the way today, and the women who will pave the way for the future. Let's celebrate the resilience, strength, determination of all women, especially in corporate America, and work to continue to create a more just and equitable world for all.
Thank you, Mr. Sims, for that message. I'd like to now invite Greg Ross to come forward and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Greg served in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years, achieving the rank of sergeant. He has worked at OUC for 5 years, and his current title is Senior Employee Relations Specialist. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The time is now 2:08, and I call the March 7th, 2023 Commission meeting to order. I'd like to acknowledge we have a quorum present this afternoon. Our next item on the agenda is the consideration of the January 24th, 2023 Commission meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and adopt them as published.
So moved.
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to waive the reading of the minutes and adopt them as published. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. The motion passes. We have 2 service awards this month. Mr. Adams, will you come forward to present the first service award?
Good afternoon. I would like to call Mr. Dave Bramlett and his wife of 41 years, Lois Bramlett, to the front. His beautiful wife of 41 years. So I always like to talk about how people came to work here at OUC, how it came to be. So Dave Bramlett used to work at a company called Emerson along with Ken Fulmer. And many of us remember Ken Fulmer used to work here at OUC as a director of construction and maintenance. So Ken started working here at OUC, and he kept in contact with Dave and said, hey, Dave, OUC is a wonderful company. You should think about coming to work here. So Dave put in a few applications, but just really couldn't get an interview. So he lived in Rosemont, and Bill Harrington, former vice president, retiree, also lived in Rosemont. So, of course, Dave figured out a way to kind of meet Bill and talk to him, and finally said, you know, Bill, I really would like to work at OUC, but I just can't seem to get a call back. So Dave showed Bill his resume, and Bill said, boy, you're really qualified. You certainly are deserving of a interview. And so that's how it came to be. He got a call back, got the interview, and started working in March of 1993 in the electric distribution engineering department. He was then promoted to senior electric engineer and then project engineer, and then made a transition over to the chill water department and became a senior engineer in chill water, but then decided to come back home into the electric distribution area and was then promoted to senior electric distribution engineer. So over the years, Dave has many work accomplishments that he is really proud of. In the chill water department, Dave was over the construction of 2 chill water plants, the Lake Nona plant and the downtown West Anderson plant. His responsibilities were getting bids from design build contractors, reviewing the specs, and overseeing the overall construction and project management of those 2 plants. So he's really proud of those 2 plants. Another project that Dave is really proud of was the Mills Avenue overhead rebuild project just north of 50, right? It was a very complicated job, old cross-arm construction. The poles were only like 2 feet away from buildings. There was it's just very tight construction, not much real estate between the buildings and the curb. So because it was so complicated, we decided to bid the project out to a contractor. And when the bids came back in, Dave reviewed the bids and got with our contractor, our construction teams rather, and our guys said, you know what, we can do better than the contractor. We can do it quicker, faster, and beat their price. And that job did come in on time and significantly under budget because of this guy right here. So he's very proud of that. He's also worked on many large critical customers within our territory. He's worked with Florida Hospital. A lot of the infrastructure for the new, some of the new towers at Florida Hospital were designed by Dave. Orlando Health, he designed many of the manhole duct bank systems for Orlando Health, including the infrastructure to serve Winnie Palmer. The fourth runway infrastructure at GOA is Dave here. Major upgrades at the airsides were designed by Dave. A lot of the high-rise buildings downtown, the infrastructure to serve those buildings were designed by Dave as well. The view, and also Reliable Plaza. So we can thank Dave for the power to this building. He also has done a lot of work on the I-4 Ultimate project. Dave is also extremely proud of the performance and the work we did during Charlie, Francis, and Jean. He actually stayed at Pershing overnight several days in his office in his sleeping bag. So it just shows the dedication that Dave has for the company. So hobbies and activities, Dave has a background in construction, so he loves a challenge. So back in '84 when they moved here and into the Rosemont neighborhood, since he has that contracted background, he decided to build his own house. So he had it designed by a residential designer, got the bids, bought a lot, and oversaw the entire construction activities from the ground up. Took about 5 to 6 months to complete that project. Dave and Lois, they love jazz concerts. They've been all over the country. They center their vacations around jazz. They've been to California, Maryland, Chicago, New York, New Orleans. They also do a lot of local jazz concerts in Melbourne and Tampa and Daytona Beach. Dave loves cycling to stay in shape, so he loves to do that in his spare time. And he's picked up a new hobby. He enjoys listening to high-resolution music, so he started buying equipment for his home entertainment system where the music can more accurately reproduce the music quality that's in the studio when it was recorded. So it sounds like it's a pretty expensive hobby you have there, Dave. And last but not least, Dave and I started working here at OUC around the same time in '93, I think about 2 weeks apart, and we became very close almost from day one, and so close that I wanted Dave and Lois to be the godfather of my firstborn son, which they have done a tremendous job over the past 24 years. So I appreciate you, Lois. My family appreciates you, and OUC appreciates the 30 years of service. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes, Ms. Osani.
Thank you, President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer-Clint. This is the first time I have the honor of doing a service award, so I am very excited to call up Alandis Sims, who you just heard do the invocation, and his family members who are here with him. Come on up, gang. While you're coming up, I'll start to give you some of the names. With Alandis is his wife, Crystal. They've been married for 21 years, so 20 to go to catch up, you guys. Also, his daughter, Alasia. She's working towards a nursing degree. And with her are her 2 children, Jace, who is 4 years old, and Bryce, who is 1, which makes Alandis a grandpa, or as they call him, Papa, which I sort of love, and we might pick up at the office a little bit. Also here is Alexis Gaucher Sims. She played collegiate volleyball and is now in school to be a physician's assistant. And finally, Ashton Sims, their youngest, is here as well. She also plays volleyball, and I hear has been offered 2 scholarships, one to Vanderbilt and one to West Point. So keep those coming in, and congratulations to all of you. Alanis has 2 other daughters who are not able to be here today. They are Cameron Sims, who is studying marketing at Kennesaw State, and Amari Sims, who is a student at Florida State University in her 2nd year on a pre-med track. So that's quite impressive to you both. Great job parenting them. I hope I can do this good. I can tell you that Crystal and your daughters and the family are really where Alandis' heart is at, and you could hear that in his invocation today. If you didn't know, Alandis attended the University of Georgia, where he played football, and he played as a defensive back. He also earned a degree, Bachelor's of Arts in English, and then he went on to earn a Master's of Divinity. He started at OUC on March 10th, 2003, as an account representative 1. He's held several other positions. I'll name a few of them. They are Manager of Customer Billing Management, Manager of MDM and Revenue Assurance, and the Economic and Business Development Administrator. It was during a reorg of the CCMO that we were looking for somebody that we could tap to lead strategic community partnerships, and Alandis is who came to mind. His ability to negotiate and do cross-department coordination has served us well. He has a really robust knowledge of the community and has a lot of connections. So it's his creativity that's helped us do projects like the Paramore Asset Stabilization Fund, where we renovated 83 homes in 32805 to make them more energy efficient. He's also currently helping to negotiate and get the contract approved for 4 Roots, which will be the first customer-sided microgrid, which will help us take that sort of research forward for our customers. He also leads the Empowerment Zone Task Force. It's an employee-led task force. We tapped him for that as well, and he brings together various aspects of the commission to stay focused on 32805 service territory. I asked Alandis, what are you most proud of in your years here so far? And what he said was the first iteration of the economic development policy that he did while he was in development services. It has evolved since then, but he's proud of the foundation that it laid to help us recruit new businesses and invest money into opportunity zones. Also, the early ideation and negotiations for the dark fiber project with Dr. Phillips, which is now officially bringing in non-traditional revenues for OUC. And however, he did say the pre-apprenticeship program is the nearest and dearest to his heart because of the impact it's making in young men's lives. He added, and I want to make sure I get this right, that here at OUC, he is able to justify the crazy ideas and create something new that has never existed before. He's appreciated the opportunity to reinvent himself and be really, truly innovative. I talked to some of Alandis' colleagues, and they shared with me that Alandis is serious about his community work, developing young people and being a role model to young people in our community. You can tell that he has a real passion for helping the youth, and you also know there's some people who just come to work to get a paycheck, and that Alandis is not one of those people. He cares about this company, he cares about this community, and he puts his heart and soul in it. He's not just here to collect a paycheck. In closing, I want to mention a couple of other activities of Alandis's outside of OUC. He serves on a few boards, including Shepherd's Hope, CEO Chicks, and BRO, which stands for Brothers Reaching Out. He's also the pastor at Fellowship Baptist Church, where he leads 400 congregants in worship. So you can see there's a great synergy in all things that Alandis does in his life, his family, his ministry, and his community service work, and his work here at OUC. So Alandis, we're so grateful to have you on this team for the last 20 years. I know I'm extremely grateful to have you on my team. You can always sense when my energy is a little off, and you're very intuitive that way, and you come and check on people. And I really appreciate that about you personally. So thank you for 20 years of service. If President Gross and Clint will please come up for a photo. I have a clock for you. Thank you.
Like everybody's in the picture but him.
Janice, would you mind stepping up and please presenting the first community recognition for today? Thank you.
Let me see, test? Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay, President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer and Clint, I am here to give you an update on the OUC Charity Golf Tournament, which happened on February 25th. We hosted our annual tournament at Shingle Creek Golf Course. For more than 25 years, the OUC Charity Golf Tournament has served to benefit worthwhile nonprofit organizations in our community. Since its inaugural event in 1995, the event has donated nearly $1 million to 66 local nonprofit agencies. Through the support of OUC's corporate partners, this year's tournament was the most successful in history. And I'm excited to share that in honor of OUC's centennial anniversary, we set a record by donating $100,000 to 10 Central Florida charities. It is our 100-year anniversary, and this is one of the first celebrations of it. At this time, I'd like to draw your attention to the screens. We have a video. It is a little bit longer than normal because we want to tell you a little bit about each charity that is here today, and they'll be coming up to take a quick photo after we show the video.
We're here at the Shingle Creek Golf Course. It's beautiful, another beautiful day in Central Florida for the OUC annual charity golf tournament.
And we are so excited to be out here celebrating our 100 years of service here with the OUC. And I am here to say this is the biggest tournament that we have had as an organization. We have the most amount of sponsors, and most importantly, we have raised the highest amount of dollars that we have in our history. We've managed to raise $100,000 for 10 charities here in Central Florida, including Orange and Osceola County. And I just want to give a big thanks to all of our sponsors that have helped make this happen, and certainly want to recognize those 10 organizations, those charities that give back in the community, and it's so important, their role. And we're honored as OUC just to be a part of that, because we know how important it is to give back to our community.
With a Gift for Teaching. A Gift for Teaching is Central Florida's primary provider of free school supplies. And so we support teachers with free educational materials. So school supplies, art instruction, and also music instruction for students.
So I'm with Canine Companions. We're a national organization that breeds, raises, trains, and provides service dogs to children, adults, and veterans with disabilities, all at no cost to our recipients.
I am with Central Florida Community Arts. We are a multidisciplinary, multi-generational performing arts organization dedicated to building community through the arts. We are home to the largest community choir in the country, the largest community symphony orchestra in the country. We have children and youth arts programs and a School of Arts and Health where we provide programming for kids as young as 6 weeks old, all the way up to adults experiencing Alzheimer's and dementia.
Grace Medical Home is a comprehensive medical practice exclusively for the low-income uninsured. In addition to providing primary care services, we offer specialty care, prescription medication, social services, mental health counseling, dental care, and so much more.
McCormick Research Institute, we have a veteran program. It's an equine therapy program for veterans struggling with PTSD. We also have a special needs program. We have licensed therapists on staff. It's a 12-week program. And we're honestly dedicated to one thing, and that's reducing veteran suicide.
So the National Entrepreneur Center is a one-stop shop for all business needs, whether it be a company wanting to start up or an existing company that wants to expand. We've got all the resources in our ecosystem to assist them. On an annual basis, we coach or train 15,000 entrepreneurs in Central Florida.
The Osceola Council on Aging is a nonprofit organization focused on making our seniors more independent and helping our low-income families and disabled get back up on their feet and out of poverty.
St. Cloud Main Street is all about historic preservation and economic development in the historic downtown section of St. Cloud. St. Cloud was built as a retirement village or city for Union soldiers, so there's a lot of history involved in it. There's a lot of historic buildings. We are involved in getting historic plaques and historic markers set up throughout the city.
So the Florida Urban Forestry Council is a statewide nonprofit that focuses on promoting the value and enhancement of the urban forest in Florida. And we do this through a number of ways. One, we have educational programming. Two, we also provide a space for green industry professionals to collaborate. And then we also serve as a voice of the community to the Florida Forest Service. So we actually act as an advisory committee for them.
The Legends Academy is a kindergarten through 8th grade STEM-focused charter school here in Orange County. We're off of John Young and Monte Carlo Way, a mile away from Camping World Stadium. At Legends Academy, one of our focuses is the total child. We try to service the entire student with their needs.
Just such a great feeling to be able to participate with them, give back to these charities that are doing such good work.
And I just want to say the OUC team has worked so hard to make this happen, and I really want to give them a big shout out and appreciate all their work. Again, the sponsors that have made this happen and their contribution and their partnership, and as well as those nonprofit charities. Again, the work they do is so important. I'm so proud and represent all 1,200 employees to just be a small part of their ability to be successful here in our community here in Central Florida.
So President Gross, thank you for being there with us that morning to present the checks. And again, I'd like to reiterate thanking those corporate sponsors that you just saw on the screen. Without their financial support, we would not have raised this much money for the charities who are making a difference through economic development, education, environmental stewardship, and social impact. I'd like to ask Harmony Wilson, who is the Community Engagement Manager, to come on up and help me. She's going to be handing checks to the representatives and helping them line up for the photo, and then President Gross and Clint, if you'll please join for that snapshot. First, we have Jane Thompson, President of A Gift for Teaching. Shelley Locke, Program Director of Canine Companions. Vicki Landon, Vice President of Development and Community Affairs of Central Florida Community Arts. Deb Hilbert, Executive Director of Florida Urban Forestry Council. Stephanie Garris, CEO of Grace Medical Home. Susan Earhart, CFO of Legends Academy. Eric Davidson, CFO and Director of Veterans Affairs of the McCormick Research Institute. Belinda Kirkgard, CEO of National Entrepreneur Center. Damaris Gutierrez, VP of Community Action Services at the Osceola Council on Aging. And Melvin Lewag, who is actually OUC's Senior Engineer of Operation, who also serves on the St. Cloud Main Street Board as their Vice President. Thank you to these 10 charities for all you do in our community and for the impact you've made and continue to make in Central Florida. We truly can't thank you enough. And Stephanie will be stepping in to take a photo. And if there's any people in support of these groups that want to come snap a shot, now's the time. Step in.
Did they cash both checks, those big giant checks, and the ones they just got today?
Only this one matters, Commissioner Chapin. Only this one matters.
We got a motion?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Janice. Lemoyne Adams.
Thank you. I am very pleased to share with you some great news regarding employee achievement. Erin Givens, our Vegetation Program Manager, is the recipient of the Friends of Our Urban Forest 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award presented by the Florida Urban Forestry Council. She has been with OUC's vegetation program for nearly 6 years, and she was promoted to program manager a year ago. She oversees tree trimming near our distribution and transmission lines, which is essential to protecting against power interruptions due to limbs and branches coming into contact with overhead electric facilities. So obviously, Erin plays a huge role in ensuring reliability to our customers. Erin is, Erin is also a terrific resource for our customers. She advises customers on planting the right tree in the right place, procures seedlings for tree giveaways, is on hand at Earth Day events to engage people who visit OUC's booth space, and lends her expertise to community outreach projects. Erin is a devoted steward of the environment and very deserving of an award recognizing her commitment. Here with us today to present the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award to Erin is Dr. Deborah Hilbert, Executive Director of the Florida Urban Forestry Council.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today for two different reasons. The Florida Urban Forestry Council, like you heard, is a statewide organization made up of municipalities, of arborists, urban foresters, utility foresters, as well as community tree boards and volunteers who are interested in the care of trees and communities. On behalf of the council, I am pleased to award Erin Givens with the 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of her outstanding contributions to urban forestry. Erin has served on the Florida Urban Forestry Council's executive committee for over 10 years and worked with numerous communities across the state to improve their urban forestry programs. Now with her role at OUC, she is increasing awareness of how trees and utilities can coexist for the benefit of the communities and citizens. Last year, Erin served as the president of the council, and her leadership was outstanding. The council's longtime executive director had passed away in January, just after Erin became president. Nevertheless, Erin pushed forward and led the council through that really challenging time and helped the council reorganize and continue to thrive. So Erin, this award recognition and thank you is hardly enough to express our heartfelt gratitude from the council and Florida's urban forestry community. But we thank you for your distinguished service and dedication to the advancement of urban forestry. So with that, President Gross, Clint, and Lemoyne, if you'd like to come up for a picture with Erin.
That's all right.
And Lemoyne, I think there might be another.
Can I ask one quick question? Is that by any chance that Tommy Tompkins print the piece of art? Does anybody know?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember. But it's beautiful. It's a live oak. I can tell you that.
Yeah, Tommy Tompkins, who is probably a power user down in St. Cloud, does that type of artwork, and it looks like something he might have done, so just wondering.
So we used to have a Tompkins that worked for OUC, and he lived on Tompkins Road, off of Narcoossee. Is it off of Narcoossee or?
More closer to the Kissimmee
I got you. Okay.
Cemetery.
Maybe not the same Tompkins.
Very rich real estate.
Not the same Tompkins. Lemoyne.
All right, thank you. This past weekend, OUC served as the host utility for the 2023 Florida Municipal Electric Association's lineman competition. This event has been held every year since 2001, except for the 2021 year due to the COVID pandemic. The host site rotates between utilities, and this year marked our fourth time serving as the host. We previously hosted the event in 04, 09, 2016, and now 2023. This year's lineman competition brought together more than 100 public power workers from across the state to demonstrate their skill and knowledge in timed and judged events. It also promoted best practices and helped prepare municipal utilities for mutual aid situations, such as the one we experienced in September when Hurricane Ian impacted our service territory. The competition featured 21 three-member journeyman teams and 77 apprentices from 12 utilities and 49 judges from across the state. With the home field advantage, OUC sent the largest number of competitors we've ever entered in the FMEA competition. Our team consisted of 8 apprentices and 4 three-member journeyman teams plus 2 alternates. I am happy to report that OUC brought home 7 trophies. Yes, 7 trophies. OUC's team swept the opening mixed competitor mutual aid event with Line Tech 2's Zach Rochester claiming first place and Austin Nettles taking second, while Line Tech 3 Elijah Venn got a third place trophy. Each was paired with 2 line workers from other utilities. Line Tech 2, Evan Englert won first place in the Hurt Man Rescue and second in the written test, while Chase Englert, no relation, also a Line Tech 2, won first place in the written text. Both competed as apprentices. And apprentice teammate Garrett Acomando, Line Tech 3, scored a first place in the H-frame crossover event. All of their achievements are a testament to the quality of training we provide here at OUC. I also want to recognize James Alexander, Senior Technical Trainer, Richard Bowley, Lead Line Tech, and Chris Taylor, Construction and Maintenance Manager. This past event marks James' 4th year as Master Judge of the competition, a role with enormous responsibilities for organizing and overseeing the entire event, including ensuring the field is set up properly. Richard was the foreman of our team for the 7th year. As foreman, he was responsible for training the entire team. Obviously, he did an outstanding job. Chris served as project director of the event, site setup, and helped coordinate the event with the FMEA Association. James and Richard worked closely together on training our team for this event, and they got the field ready with the help of OUC line techs, students from Valencia's College Power Line Technician Program, and line workers from some of the participating utilities. The lineman competition wasn't the only thing going on at the field. The site included sustainability displays, OUC's tiny green home, electric vehicles, live power line safety demonstrations by Pipe Electric, vendor displays, food trucks, and a children's activity area complete with inflated slides and obstacle course, games, and face painting. With that said, I would like to extend my appreciation to a few others who made substantial contributions. Christina Faria, the Do Everything Administrative Assistant on this project, Carlene Santiago, Volunteer Coordinator, Bernadette Bosch, Creative Services, Lisa Curran, Marketing and Community Engagement, Michelle Lynch, Corporate Communications, Harmony Wilson, Community Engagement, Allison Roy, OUC Wellness. She put together the children's activity area, which featured a gigantic inflatable alligator slide and obstacle course, face painting, and interactive games. I see you must have enjoyed that one, Letitia. Chico Ramanarian, Facilities, Andrew Walters, Security, and Justin Kramer, Emerging Technologies. And I'm sure I left out someone, so my apologies if I did. And I want to give a big thank you to all the volunteers, employees, and their families who helped make the competition a great experience for the guests who came out to watch. Thanks to everyone's hard work, the FMEA lineman competition was a grand success, and it showcased OUC's commitment to excellence. We will be back after the American Public Power Association's 2023 Public Power Line Workers Rodeo, a national competition that occurs at the end of this month in Kansas City, with another update and the teams for our formal recognition of their efforts and wins at both events. The lineman competition concluded with an awards dinner during which FMEA presented its safety awards. I am extremely proud to say OUC received a 2022 Safety Award for our continued commitment to safe working practices. OUC was awarded first place in category E, which is made up of utilities that compile 950,000 to 2.49 million work hours a year. Utilities are placed into categories according to total work hours and recognized for the most incident-free records. The incident rate used to judge utilities was based on the number of work-related reportable injuries or illnesses compared to the total number of work hours during 2017 as defined by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, better known as OSHA. Both of these achievements demonstrate our commitment to making safety first, our #1 core value, as it is imperative that we protect the safety of our employees while ensuring reliable electric service to our customers. And I think we have a video to show at this time.
We're here at the FMEA annual alignment competition, and OUC is a sponsor, and we're very proud to be celebrating 100 years. I'm extremely proud of the team that set up the grounds. Everything's plumb straight, beautiful. It really sets the scene.
This has been a long time work. We've started last rodeo, actually. The event was in Fort Pierce. We knew OUC was coming next. So we started planning early. We started working on a team. So I said, we've been working hard for about a year to get it together. We were able to put an exceptional team together. We collaborated well. We have employees. We talked to parents. We talked to spouses to try to get a feel of what they would like to see OUC do this year. So this is the culmination of everything we saw.
So the Florida Lineman Competition it's a great event. It really is a competition where the teams can come together from all over the state. They can work. We all have the same events. We learn how to use tools. It's all about training, efficiency, speed, and most of all, safety. And so you take all those things and combine it with time and precision, and that's how you ultimately get your winner.
But what's really great is while the teams are certainly competing against each other, and there's certainly some awards that the guys are going after, it's a real sense of camaraderie and community. And that's really what our industry is about. That's exactly what mutual aid is about. And at the end of the day, these guys are actually meeting each other from other utilities. So it's a great opportunity.
It got to be where we knew each other. And so it's actually brought us as a Florida utility family closer together so we all know each other. And this is like a family reunion type deal where we get to see all our cousins, I guess, and get to see each other and rekindle all that stuff and bring up guys underneath us.
So I can't say enough about how hard our guys are out here working today. We've got 4 journeyman team. We've got 6 individual apprentices. They've been preparing for months. They've been focused on safety and their technique, and today is their opportunity to show and display it in a competitive way with other utilities in the state, and I couldn't be more proud of those individuals.
We're really proud of OUC altogether. I mean, the boys always come out, put on a great show, and have a great day.
My daddy's invited me for OUC. I am proud of my daddy really much.
Our core values are family, as line techs and in the line trade. So we love to have events like this where we can bring our family out. They get to see what we do. We kind of get to show off in front of them a little bit, as well as what we do for the communities and for the state as we get the power back home.
We have 7 kids here with us today, so it's definitely a family event.
You have wives and brothers and parents, and of course children coming out. But again, this doesn't happen without a lot of involvement within OUC. And I'm really proud of all the different departments that are involved, all the time that they have spent in preparation. And I couldn't be happier with today's events. And I've been getting a ton of great feedback about this event and this location. So kudos to the entire OUC team. I thank them for all their hard work.
We've seen probably 100 to 150 kids in this area, but it's also for adults. So we've had lots of teenagers, lots of family members. We've had lots of employees challenge each other. So that's been a bright spot today.
I got my face painted.
As a part of this year's celebration, we are celebrating OUC 100, and it's OUC's 100th year of being in business. And so it's certainly an exciting time. It's an element of what we have here today, and it's an element of everything we're doing this entire year.
It is actually amazing that it's our 100th year. This is somewhat of a kickoff to the 100-year celebration. So it gave us an opportunity to highlight, showcase other stuff we do. We were able to bring out our emerging technologies, to bring out the tiny house, some solar farms. We were able to get everybody involved and show them what makes OUC the reliable one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lemoyne. All right, Letitia, please.
Good afternoon, President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Clint. March is nationally observed as Women's History Month in recognition of the incredible contributions women have made, as Alandis so eloquently stated earlier. I'll share a review of how we celebrated this occasion at our next board meeting. Today, however, I would like to highlight an event held last month in honor of Black History Month. Every February, the U.S. honors the contributions and sacrifices of African Americans who have helped shape our nation. Black History Month celebrates the rich cultural heritage, triumphs, and sacrifices that are indelible part of this country's history. This year, OUC commemorated Black History Month with a unique approach, an in-person forum that promoted dialogue among employees. On February 16th, the DEI and engagement team launched Conversations with a Purpose. This is the first of a series of discussions designed to create a sense of belonging and increase connection and engagement among leaders and employees, as well as to identify opportunities to educate ourselves about the human experience. These forums celebrate diversity by creating cultural awareness, inclusion, and understanding. Titled Authenticity in the Workplace, the inaugural Conversations with a Purpose focus on the experiences of 3 OUC employees. LaShawn Nell Statham, Director of Safety, Technical Training, and Emergency Management. Carlos Woody, Chief Deputy General Counsel, and William Munson, Water Meter Technician 1. These 3 employees amplified the purpose, the importance of working in environments where they can be their authentic selves, their true selves. They also highlighted the importance of inclusive workplaces. Inclusivity leads to stronger sense of belonging, and it also contributes to a happy, healthy workplace, as well as happy and healthy employees. When leaders are authentic, they make it safe for their employees to be themselves too at work. The panel discussion was held in the atrium of the Pershing Operations Center, and it was moderated by DEI and Engagement Program Manager Gloria Weatherspoon. The results? 72 employees attended the event, and they had the opportunity to offer comments and ask panelists questions. Each attendee was provided with a reference list of terms that might be referred to in the discussion, just in case they weren't aware or familiar with them. Another opportunity for learning. And after the program, participants were asked to complete a survey, of which 42 did. The results of the survey were overwhelmingly positive, with 100% of the respondents saying they would recommend Conversations with a Purpose to colleagues. 98% said the event helped them gain a greater awareness and understanding of the value of authenticity in the workplace. So I feel confident that this forum was a success in that it spurred employee engagement, dialogue, and helped our employees' minds, open their minds to diverse experiences and different perspectives. As I alluded to earlier, there will be other Conversations with the Purpose that the DEI and engagement team plans to hold later this year, and they will be held at different locations across our OUC network. Now I'd like to share a brief video of the event.
But I think these conversations are really important and they're critical to our work around DEI at OUC. It really gives us an opportunity to lift underrepresented voices, to truly celebrate diversity, and to have conversations. I think that's one of the best ways to learn about different perspectives is to listen to people.
Authenticity is basically being able to come to work and be honest in who you are, honest in your convictions, honest in your values, and being accepted for those things.
For me, obviously, I'm African American. If we look at people as people, I am not defined by my race. That doesn't define me. It may have refined me, but it doesn't define who I am. I'm a father. I'm an elder in my church. I'm a husband. I'm a son.
I think personally, right, I think we all bring a different standpoint to the table. We come from different backgrounds, we've had different upbringings. I come in with a lot of drive. I feel comfortable in my own skin.
No matter what we go through, at the end of the day, you just have to be your authentic self. And just like you said, you have to stay true to yourself, because there's a lot of times when you can just really lose it.
It was a nice turnout, and I really like the fact that it's a diverse turnout of people who are not only interested in the conversation, but also wanted to learn more what the panelists had to say. So it was great.
I think was great for OUC. I mean, I've been here almost 30 years, and I don't think I've ever seen us have a panel discussion like this, where we're talking about, a conversation related to diversity, and how it ties to the panelists' growth and journey, again, in life and in their professional career. And so I'm excited about it because you start the conversation going, it breaks down barriers, it helps people connect more.
I hope through the discussion today and the topic of authenticity that you've been able to learn through others' lived experiences, the human experiences, and be able to take some of the great tips and nuggets that you've heard today back into your workplaces and really create the environment that you want.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Looks amazing. Thank you, Letitia. Thank you. And Linda Ferroni, the last community recognition.
Clearly, we have been busy in the community. I'm actually going to, President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Clint, I'm actually going to talk about what's coming up instead of what we've just done. So you've got these cards right in front of you, which I'll draw your attention to. So as you know, OUC is the reliable one, but we are the sustainable one too. So coming up in April, we've got combination of Water Conservation Month and Earth Month. So every year, this becomes a very busy month for us in the community as we engage as many as 50,000 of our residents and across all of these different events, which we are incredibly proud of. I'm just going to highlight a few of these. The first one that you see on the list there has to do with our watercolor project. As you know, we do that in conjunction with Orange County Public Schools Arts Department. It is water conservation focused with painting and drawing through the arts. So with the grade school kids, we do the water conservation annual calendar. And with the middle school and the high school kids, they paint rain barrels that later then are auctioned off, and those proceeds go back to the arts programs that participated. So the first item on there is actually having some of those select rain barrels and some of that calendar artwork on display at City Arts in downtown Orlando. That's downtown Orlando's Arts District's flagship venue. So that's a real delight for the kids to have that every year. Then two more down, you'll see UCF Celebrates the Arts. Those rain barrels will be on display again, along with UCF's Arts, which does this in conjunction with the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. So that's where they'll be. They'll be at Dr. Phillips. Again, that's really great way to highlight the kids' artwork, but also water conservation. A lot of people that we wouldn't normally reach regarding water conservation get a chance to see this art. And then about halfway down the page on April 20th, you'll see the actual awards program. So we do that every year at the rep. The kids, their teachers, their families all come and they get recognized for their work. They can all come. They get a show that's provided for free to all of them by the rep, and it's a really wonderful time to recognize all the students for their work. So that is the culmination of the watercolor project for us. There's just a couple other things that I'll note on here. We do have an event in St. Cloud that we celebrate with them. Their spring fling, which is it's the Rotary Club of St. Cloud. It's their lakefront. So we'll be excited to be there. We'll be handing out seedlings, which I'm sure Erin, she's not here anymore, but Erin always helps us with that. Every year she gets a lot of good healthy trees, and our conservation team is there handing those out. And then we do a couple of things in conjunction with the city. So Mayor Dyer will be there with you on the 21st over the noon hour. That is a Earth Day work day function. So we do that along with Mayor Dyer and the city's Greenworks team. And our conservation team and our community engagement team is always there with them. And then the very next day is the Central Florida Earth Day celebration at Lake Eola. We'll have our tiny green home out there. We'll have our wrap Nissan Leaf out there, so we'll be out there raising a lot of awareness. There's a variety of other things you can see on here that are pretty exciting. So Lineman Appreciation Day, we can't appreciate them enough. Administrative Professionals Day. I'm pretty sure without our administrative assistants and our other executive assistants, we wouldn't function for probably a week. So we really take the time to recognize them. And last but not least, take our sons and daughters to work day, which is really important for us to inspire the next generation of the workforce of the future, but the next generation of OUCers too. We have a lot of multi-generational families here. So we really appreciate that event. That's what I'll highlight for you today. So please join us for any or all of them if you can. Thanks.
Thank you. It's exhausting. That's a lot going on. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, I think that wraps up the community and employee events and recognitions. Let's move to the affirmative items portion of the agenda. Mr. Bullock, before we continue, do we have any requests for the public to speak?
We do not, President Gross.
All right, thank you. All right, are there any comments or presentations regarding the affirmative items?
President Gross, we have no proactive agenda items to speak on here today, but we're open to any questions the board members may have for us.
All right. Before we vote, are there any comments, questions amongst commission staff here about the affirmative items? Any comments,
Just
questions?
a question.
Yep.
Concerning the Dowden extension
Yes.
going east, how far east are we going?
I'll let Lemoyne answer any questions related to A4. So Lemoyne, if you could.
So that, excuse me, that project is obviously east of Narcoossee Road, and there are two newer subdivisions that they are going to be providing service to. I have to get back to you on the miles of the extension, but trying to find it's Torrey Pines and another subdivision that we're extending that duct bank system there to provide service to, going to the east.
Yeah, and I mean,
Just west of, it's going to be west of the Sunbridge development, not as far east as Sunbridge, but between Narcoossee and Sunbridge.
Okay, that's what I was. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments, discussion? All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve affirmative items A1 through A21?
So move.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Again, if there isn't any discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? None. All right, the motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Bullock, do you have any comments on new business item number 1?
Yes, thank you, President Gross. We would like to share a presentation, and before Mindy comes up and speaks specifically on the agenda item related to our level 3 public charging station vehicle pilot rate, I've asked Janice to come and say a few words specific to the Robinson Mobility Charging Hub, just to give you a bit of an update on the status of it, because the rate that we're approving today, the driver in the very first project, driver, The very first project is this specific one, but it will be for any future charging stations, public charging stations that we have that are for level 3. But I thought it was appropriate for Janice to give a status update on how close we're getting, show you a few photos, and then we'll lead into Mindy to speak specifically on the agenda item. So Janice?
Yes. President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer, and Clint, as you just heard Clint say, I will be providing an update on the Robinson Hub. We do have some slides to show that I believe Francis is pulling up. If we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please, Francis, I'd appreciate it. You're going to stand with me? And Mindy's going to join me. She's going to wait right here and add in anything that I need. Thank you, Mindy. On this slide, you can see that in May of 2023, we will energize the Robinson Mobility Hub with level 3 chargers. As a reminder, they're universal chargers, meaning any make or model can charge at this hub, which we believe is one of the largest in the nation, if not the largest in the nation. Most of the big ones are Tesla-only hubs. The charging dispensers are made by Power Electronics. There's 3 dual port that are 240 kV dispensers, and they serve 6 spaces in this lot. Then there's 14 single port chargers, 120 kW, that serve 14 total spaces. And then the network that will be used to monitor the charging is being provided by Nova Charge. You can see a couple of photos to the right. The far right one is simply a rendering of what the 240 chargers look like when installed. But to the left is to show you that we have 3 of them in our possession, in storage, in nice, beautiful crates. They will be wrapped here shortly and branded OUC, and the 14 other dispensers are on their way here. We're very confident they will be here in time to be installed for the May soft launch. If we can go to the next slide, you will see a photo of the site. This was taken on March 1st. So you'll see we did get approval from the FDEP to move forward with our proposed remediation plan on February 20th. We immediately set in motion our plans to prepare for construction, and it's resumed yesterday, March 6th. Very exciting news. You can see in the photo that we have curbs installed within the site. You can see in the middle, those are the 14 pads. They're kind of like in the H shape there. They're little rectangles sticking up. Those are the 14. 120 chargers. And then over to the left, to the photo by the 2 transformers in green, are the pads for the 3 240 chargers. So work is there. What we have left to do is put in another concrete pad. That is actually what we were doing when we found the tanks. So we are now able to put in that pad, and we will go ahead and pour in the asphalt for the area, install the dispensers, and then we will do landscaping and beautification. The schedule is a 6-week construction schedule with a 2-week contingency in order to meet that May 1 go live for a soft launch. We're very confident. And so then after we've done some testing and of the network and of the dispensers themselves, we will have a larger grand opening. I do have one more slide to quickly show you where this site is located in case you are not familiar with this area. This is a Google Maps snapshot, not Google Docs. On the far left is I-4 running north to south. Just to the right of that is North Garland that runs slightly below and alongside I-4. All the way to the right, you can see Orange Ave also running north to south. And then, crossing across it is Robinson Street. In the very middle in the red outline is where the actual hub location is. That's what I just showed you a photo of. To the north, you can see Ace Cafe. Right to the left of the hub is one of our substations. And then if you go to the right of the hub over the tracks, that is also OUC land. If you look really closely, you can see one of our solar sculptures. And then to the north of that is one of our chiller plants, which is where we took the photo from. So that little reversed L parcel is ours. We acquired that land in the 80s. So we're repurposing land that we've had in our possession for quite a while to do this pilot program. And we're quite excited about that. So before I hand this over to Mindy to talk to you about the high-speed charging rate that we're proposing as a pilot, do you have any questions for me on this update?
No, great.
No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll stand with you, Mindy.
Perfect. Janice has the more exciting part to this presentation. But this is a pilot program, and so we are recommending a billing price of 35 cents a kilowatt hour, plus an idling fee of $1 per minute. This is really about promoting the usage and the turnover. The idle fee will kick in essentially after 10 minutes of giving anyone that charges at the site a grace period. They will get notification on their app through the Charge It app. So they will be notified before any charges are incurred. The price structure of a cents per kilowatt hour is the standard in this Florida area. So we did a little homework on that. That is currently the standard. There are other options being being tested in other areas, but this is the standard in the state of Florida. We are going to be looking at the pilot over the next 12 to 18 months as we advance the recharging hubs and look at the utilization. That is really the driver for the pricing, is the utilization of these charging hubs. And it's new, so we're really going to keep our eye close to this to understand that we have it priced accordingly. That is the recommendation. Let me move forward. In the right, you can see the approximate cost to charge vehicles. And again, this depends on the vehicle you have, the age of the battery charging. The older it is, the more challenging or longer it takes. But it ranges because each manufacturer has different standards. So, but on average, we anticipate somewhere around 30 minutes, from 20% to 80%, and it'd be about a cost of $10. So the action in front of you here is to adopt the proposed level 3 public charging for electric vehicles at the Recharge Mobility Hub. The rate will be in effect effective May 1 when the recharging hub opens, and this, like other rates of this nature, is being reviewed by the Public Service Commission, the Florida Public Service Commission. So I or Janice are happy to take any questions that you may have.
Please.
So a question concerning the May 1 pending public service. Any idea how long they'll take to respond?
Sure, we usually get a response within 30 days. They don't stop us from using the rate. We send it to them more to make sure that our rates are consistent with the other utilities, but you as the governing board approves our rate. It is really around the structure that they look at for consistency. So the board approves the rate. We do it more for a compliance purpose, really to make sure we're consistent on the structure with the rest of the state utilities.
That's good. Anyone else? Good. Questions, discussion,
No.
comments?
I'd move approval on the public charging pilot program and the rate schedule proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys both. All right, Commissioner Mills, over to you. Can you present the Audit Finance Committee report?
Yes. The Audit Finance Committee meeting was held on February 16th, 2023, and the committee was presented with revisions to the Audit Finance Committee charter for recommendation for this current board approval. After hearing it, the committee recommends board approval of the Audit Finance Committee charter revisions. The committee approves supporting investment and debt charter guideline changes that were presented to us for approval, as well as a review of the energy risk management charter guidelines. The committee also reviewed the electrification pricing update to support, which you just saw, the opening of OUC ZB Mobility Hub. The committee was provided with a financing update to support the 2023 capital plan, as well as needed funding for the projected 5-year 2024 through 2028 capital plan. The committee approved the recommendation for the appointment of Mindy Brené as ERMOC chairperson. The committee also was provided with an update on Hurricane Nicole's costs and the estimated FEMA cost reimbursement for recommendations again for board approval. The committee recommends board approval for the deferral of $1.9 million of anticipated eligible FEMA costs reimbursement related to Hurricane Nicole. And then finally, quarterly financial updates were provided for the Energy Risk Management Committee internal audit, financial services. In addition, updates were provided on the Red Flag Committee and strategic process improvement activities. So for this meeting, in summary, the committee is recommending board approval of the Audit Finance Committee charter revisions, as well as recommending board approval for the deferral of $1.9 million of anticipated eligible FEMA cost reimbursements related to Hurricane Nicole. That concludes our review.
All right, thank you. Do I need to take the vote separately on the two motions? All right, let's just do them, take them separately. Is there a motion to adopt the revised charter as recommended by the Audit Finance Committee to redefine the commission president's role as a voting member of the committee with the status to establish a quorum?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion passes. Second, is there a motion to approve deferral of $1.875 million of Hurricane Nicole emergency response and hurricane preparedness costs incurred in fiscal year 23, consistent with the rate-making model and the commission-approved operating budget?
So moved.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Ms. Bernay? Yes. Will you please present the financial report? I don't want to interrupt you over there.
From the attorney. Always learning something, which is good.
What was the answer? We had to do them separately?
No, the answer was you could choose either one, but if you were going to reject one, then
Okay. We start
that was
all
the
over.
risk.
All right. Thank you.
I love it. I learn something every day. Yes, thank you. I go into PowerPoint mode. Good afternoon, President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Clint. Attached up here is the preliminary February financials. I say preliminary because it still is a little early. We haven't quite closed the books for February. Right now, we're looking at pretty much slightly favorable to budget, and really that is driven off of wholesale sales. And the first line of the explanation really tells the story. The winter months gave us some opportunity to sell some wholesale sales for about $7.9 million beyond what we anticipated. That really helped offset the rate action we took earlier last year to help mitigate some of the price increases. Remember, we took and deferred $25 million, so we reduced our base rate, $3.50. We deferred that. We anticipated using that. So far, we have not had to use that, given that we had this unplanned wholesale sales. So net at revenue at this time, we're pretty much on budget. But again, that is driven by unplanned wholesale sales. Happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion? It's good. Looks
Yes.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're in the positive.
All right, Mr. Browder, do we have any legal issues to report? All right. Let me check in again. Do we have any members of the public?
We do not.
Don't want to make any general appearances. All right, fine. All right, we're going to move forward with general manager's comments.
Thank you, President Gross. I do have one item that I would like to share with the board here today. We do have an individual of the leadership team. This will be his last meeting. Yes, he's putting his head down. Yes, sorry, Jan. We are going to bid a farewell to Jan Asperu, our Chief Operating Officer. And before we do so, I would like to just say a few words here today at the meeting and really, again, just honor Jan's 30 years of service with OUC. And he certainly had a significant impact on OUC throughout his entire career. He's the type of leader, he's a servant leader. He probably isn't too excited that I'm doing this, but Jan, my friend, hang in there. But he's certainly worthy of OUC acknowledging him. I want to give a little bit of background of his previous experience or how he progressed through the organization and really highlight a few projects. I'm not going to list them all, but there's certainly a few worth noting. Jan started OUC February 1st, 1993 as a demand-side planning engineer. He had the opportunity to work in our conservation programs, numerous conservation programs at the time, and he was a part of our very first HVAC rebate. So he did that for a couple of years, and there he advanced to our commercial account executive engineer role. And that's really when I had the opportunity to first come across and start working with Jan. That was between 95 and 97. Jan got to work on all the cool projects. But certainly one that was pretty exciting is he had the opportunity to work on our very first chilled water deal with Lockheed Martin. And just remember that as I plant that seed as we advance ourselves forward, as we talk about chilled water. After a couple of years, Jan advanced himself into management and he moved over into the fuels division. And that didn't take long and he got promoted into the director of the fuels division. We all know how important the management of fuels are for the organization. From an expense standpoint, it's one of our largest single line item expenses as an organization, right? Not only managing the daily fuel from our coal and our gas, but also the transportation and rail side associated with it. So it's a very big responsibility. Jan did a great job over there, grew the position, and he was responsible in 1999, was part of a team that developed and implemented OUC's ERMOC, or Fuel Hedging Program, really one of the first in the state of Florida, and certainly now it's practiced, and we're really thankful that we have such a program in place, and Jan has been a part of that ever since. Spent about 10 years over on the fuel side, and then Jan was promoted into a vice president role, where he was a vice president of the electric production side of the house. And then a few years later, he got the water production side and was vice president of electric and water production. Certainly a few things, worth highlighting. Managing OUC's generation portfolio is no small, feat. He's had a chance to manage that in his role, as well as manage water quality within the entire operations area. From a sustainability standpoint, Jan was involved with the first solar purchase power agreements that we did out at Stanton. And certainly they were the first solar projects here in all of Orange County, was the largest at one point in time. He was involved in the Indian River project when we sold off part of the assets. And we sold them for just over $200 million. And then he was also part of the team that bought it back for around $11 million. So, you don't need a sophisticated calculator to realize we did really good on that. Jan was involved with Stanton B, 300 megawatt natural gas combined cycle. He launched the replacement of our liquid oxygen injection system with direct injection, instituted upgrades of our ozone generation system at 3 of our treatment plants, and then renegotiated the agreement with Orange County to utilize partly treated wastewater at Stanton for cooling needs. And then in his current and sort of final role in 2018, as I became CEO, I recognized that we needed a COO. It was a brand new role within the organization. And really, as you look back now, I think it's pivotal to our success with having a COO. This was the first action that I did. Actually, I had support of Ken of doing this before I was even final approval by the board in the position. And I haven't looked back since. Jan's had numerous types of activities that he's been involved with at the COO role. He certainly took the lead on the Electric Integrated Resource Plan that we did back in 2020. We all know how important that plan was with the net zero and our goals to reduce CO2 emissions 50% by the year 2030, and he's working extremely hard to achieve that. He's been working on additional solar projects and purchase power agreements. You heard the update, last meeting. And so we've had some that were completed in 2020. We have 2 more that'll be completed in 2024. And it'll get OUC close to 300 megawatts of solar. His leadership certainly helped us out quite a bit when we had our liquid oxygen shortage back in 2021. And he was involved with that. And then, as I mentioned, chilled water. He's been instrumental in the advancement and the expansion of chilled water. We've talked about the two significant projects that we were successful in bringing online here lately. The GOA project, over 10,000 tons of chilled water, 28 megawatts of backup generation, and really just a new service there. And online and running, and then the Universal project, 20,000 tons with the ability to go to 25,000 tons. Had a chance with Jan and his team to go out and see the facility a few weeks ago. It's very impressive out there at Epic, and we're looking forward to that. And then in 2021, Jan had a project with Osceola Generation Station. We had a huge opportunity to acquire the 510 megawatts of peakers. The board was supportive of us doing it, and Jan, worked extremely hard to make that happen. We brought one unit up this past summer. We'll bring another one up this year, and we'll be ready to go in 2025. Certainly, I couldn't leave out Jan's community involvement. Jan's been committed to the community. He's been involved as a board member of the Heart of Florida United Way's board with OUC. He'll be stepping down in July on that. And of course, he's been very active in the Hispanic community throughout the state of Florida. He's been a chair of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Metro Orlando and is now a board director, but previously a chair. And he was previously a chair of Prospera. Jen, you've made quite a footprint here at OUC. You've helped lay the foundation for OUC as we move forward. I know, you're looking forward to spending a little bit of time with Janie, doing a little bit of traveling, working on his golf game, spending time with family and friends. He probably won't miss the commute too much from Merritt Island into Reliable Plaza. But I just want to say on behalf of the entire OUC family, just want to thank you for your 30 years of service, your commitment to OUC. You've been an amazing leader. We've all appreciated you as a team member, and I would just want to wish you well, congratulate you in your retirement. And most of all, I just want to thank you for your friendship. I really valued that. I valued all of our conversations that we have had. I valued being in the trenches with you, and just so blessed to have worked with you. And we just want to wish you well. And I'd just like to stand and give Jan a round of applause. Jan, I know that wasn't easy. Thank you for indulging us. There may be a few more words, so hang in there. Commissioners, those are my final comments. Thank you for a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, Commissioner comments.
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Calvin.
Well, thank you to, they're still here with Dave Bramlett, and the same thing with Orlando Sims, who was able to recover very well from his conversation. But,
touch and go for a while.
Congratulations on combined 50 years on both of you. That is fantastic. Love to hear that. And then, in the case of Jan, I remember back in DOCO 93 when Roseanne Harrington wanted to make sure that I met that guy that also has Cuban descent in him. So Roseanne did not stop until, we got together to meet each other back many years ago. So, Jan, thank you for a job well done. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Mills?
I echo what my fellow commissioner said, but I do appreciate what you're doing with the DIA teams, the dialogue, and would really, really encourage you to expand that and take it not only from the diversity standpoint, but into production, into employee recommendations and services, and take it into just the concept. Just having relevant dialogue, and sometimes just having dialogue sessions about what's going on in the community and the pain that employees may be experiencing. So I love that, and would just recommend that you look at ways to expand that dialogue session. Secondly, encouraged by the Robinson Recharge Mobility. Can't wait to see how that goes. And finally, again, I'm always into the service awards and the community recognition, and you guys are just out there doing some really great things. And Jan, can't tell you how grateful we are and thankful to have had you. All right.
Thank you. Mr. Chapin?
Not much, just still my second meeting, so I'm still figuring out where the bathrooms are. But I appreciate, I've called several of you and appreciate all your feedback to my questions. when does the hard stuff start? I mean, this was a very uplifting meeting. Felt good to hear these stories, to see the competitions, to see the community work. You know, I always knew we did that, but to see it firsthand and to see the smiles on people's faces, to see the families come up, to see, you know, multi-generation families come up and smile and take pictures and hear about all the opportunities that have been created here. So it was a great meeting. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Just I'm glad we were able to highlight our DEI efforts in this political climate where some are suggesting those are not appropriate things to be doing. I'm glad that we remain committed in that area and are highlighting that as part of our meeting. Also, we have a lot of Women's Month events on our website is probably the best place. I was going to start listing a bunch of them, but it's probably just better off to say go to City of Orlando or orlando.gov. We changed our website, orlando.gov, for things that we were doing. But we did do a women's suffrage plaque monument over in front of the Angebilt building, and a lot of people may not know, but women earned the right to vote in the city of Orlando a year before the 19th Amendment. So we were leaders in equity and inclusion even back then. And the Florida part of that, the initial meeting that summoned up a lot of the energy behind that, took place at the Roslyn Club, which was where the Angebilt Hotel is now. So we put a plaque up there, and it was led by a woman who was the pastor at the Unitarian Church. So there'll be a plaque there as well, but we have a lot of events. And then lastly is Jan, we're gonna miss you. You've done so much for this organization, and we just can't express how much we appreciate your dedication and your professionalism, and your always willingness to, okay, if I don't know the answer, I'll figure it out one way or the other. So thank you for your 30 years of service.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'll just add, if you haven't been to a lineman rodeo, you have to go see that in person. I'm just still beaming. It was amazing. The skill, dexterity, the safety, I mean, and the camaraderie, amazing. That mutual aid, the mutual aid event with all the poles and all the guys, you didn't even know where to look. There was so much going on all at once. Just amazing. What an amazing industry this is, and OUC just did great. The DC Hub, of course, I'm really excited about that. It is desperately needed in this community. It's going to cause a lot of people to run out and get battery electric vehicles, so I'm really excited about that. And then finally, Jan, what an honor it's been to work with you. What a career and a contribution you've made here. Best of everything to you as you take the next step. Thank you. And with that, if there's no objection, the meeting is adjourned at, and is that, am I reading that right? Is it 3:27? Adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
So on Church Street.
Very good.
You can't
do it first.
My head spins. I feel like I'm doing EV stuff. I'm like, isn't it crazy? Was it always like this?
Yeah.
Was it always like this?
Rodeo, right? Yeah. It would carry you, it would throw you. That's force you.
I mean, there's so much going on.
Okay, Clint.
Hey, Clint, your schedule? Did I work it? Oh, yeah, you did. Next time.